Hello everyone, welcome back to Pharma Health Insights. This is Rajesh here. Today we are going to discuss one of the most requested and most practical career topics, how to get a pharmaceutical job in Canada. Now whether you are working in quality control, quality assurance, regulatory affairs or even validation, this session is going to give you a complete roadmap. Many professionals message me saying, Sir, I have experience in India, I have experience in UAE, I have worked in Dubai. But how do I enter Canada? Do I need a Canadian certification? What's the right path for QA or QC? So, in this masterclass, I will break everything down step by step, very clearly, very realistically. If Canada is your dream destination, stay with me till the end because this session can save you months of confusion and wrong direction. Now, before we jump into job applications, let's first understand why Canada is such a big opportunity for pharma professionals. Friends, Canada is becoming one of the fastest growing destinations for pharmaceutical careers. The Canadian pharma industry is built on three strong pillars: patient safety, regulatory compliance, and high quality manufacturing. Unlike some markets where the volume is the main focus, Canada is extremely compliance driven. Documentation and GMP discipline are taken very seriously. Many global companies operate in Canada, and because of this, the demand for trained professionals for QA, QC, regulatory affairs, and validation is continuously increasing. So, Canada is not just a place for a job, it's a place for long term career growth, global exposure, stability, and professional respect. Now, the next question is, where exactly are these pharma jobs located inside Canada? Let's understand the major job hubs first. Now, friends, pharma opportunities in Canada are not equally spread everywhere. They are mainly concentrated in few key regions. The biggest hub is Toronto and Mississauga in Ontario. This is where you will find major pharmaceutical companies, manufacturing sites, and contract organizations. Then comes Montreal, which is very strong in biotech, research based pharma, and manufacturing. Vancouver is growing rapidly, especially in clinical research, biotech startups, and innovation driven roles. And Alberta is also emerging with research focused opportunities. So, one important part of your Canada strategy is not only choosing the right job here, but also targeting the right province and the city where the pharma hiring is the strongest. Now that we know where the jobs are, let's understand what kind of pharma roles are actually in demand. In Canada, pharmaceutical hiring mainly happens across four major career tracks. The first is quality assurance, which focuses on compliance systems, documentations, deviations, CAPA, and audit readiness. The second is quality control, which focuses on analytical testing, lab investigations, stability studies, and data integrity. The third is regulatory affairs, which deals with Health Canada submissions, approvals, labeling compliance, and regulatory lifecycle management. And the fourth is validation and qualification, which ensures equipment processes and computerized systems are scientifically proven and compliant. So, the first major decision for you is which track matches your experience and interest. Because once you choose the right track, your entire preparation becomes focused and strong. Let's explore each of these tracks one by one, starting with the most common entry pathway, the quality assurance. So, friends, quality assurance is one of the strongest and most popular entry path into Canadian pharma. QA professionals ensure that every activity, manufacturing, testing, packaging, follows the GMP requirements. In Canada, QA is highly structured. Employers expect strong understanding of deviation investigations, root cause analysis, CAPA implementation, change control systems, audit and inspection readiness. If you already have QA experience in India or any other country, that experience is very valuable to you. But you must present it in the Canadian way with strong documentation, discipline, and compliance mindset. Canada values QA professionals because QA is the backbone of patient safety and regulatory trust. Now, many candidates they ask me, "Sir, what about quality control jobs?" So, let's discuss the QC pathway next. Quality control roles are always in demand because every batch must be tested before release. In Canada, QC jobs include QC analyst, lab technician, microbiologist, stability associate. Strong analytical skills such as HPLC, GC, UV spectroscopy are essential. But friends, here is the key difference. In Canada, QC is not only about testing, it's about investigation and documentations. Employers expect strong understanding of OS handling, lab investigation deviations, data integrity principles like Alcoa Plus, stability study compliance. So QC is a great pathway, no doubt, but accuracy, discipline, and compliance thinking are extremely important. Now let's move into one of the fastest growing and high paying domains, the regulatory affairs. Regulatory affairs is a high growth and strategic career path in Canada. Regulatory professionals are responsible for Health Canada submissions, approval coordinations, labeling compliance, life cycle documentation, communication with regulatory agencies. So, if you enjoy writing, compliance strategy, and global regulations, RA can be an excellent long term career option for you. Many professionals enter regulatory through documentation roles or coordinator positions and grow steadily into specialist roles. Regulatory affairs is not just a job, it's a career where you become part of the decision making system of the pharmaceutical compliance. Now, apart from QA, QC, and regulatory affairs, another highly demanded domain in Canada is validation. So, now let's understand that. Validation roles are amongst the most demanded in Canada, especially because pharma companies are becoming more automated and compliance expectations are rising. Validation professionals handle IQ, OQ, PQ qualification, cleaning validations, process validation, computer system validation, or very commonly known as CSV. If you have experience writing protocols, executing qualification studies, or supporting audits, validations can be a strong entry route for you. Canada values validation expertise because it ensures that systems are scientifically proven, compliant, and inspection ready. Now, after understanding these roles, the biggest doubt in every candidate's mind is Canadian experience. Let's address that honestly. One of the biggest barriers candidates hear about is the term Canadian experience. Many professionals feel discouraged thinking about Indian or any other country experience is not accepted. But the truth is, Canadian experience does not mean you must have worked in Canada already. It means employers want you to understand Canadian GMP culture, documentation standards, workplace communication style, Health Canada compliance expectations. So the goal is not starting from zero. The goal is building Canadian relevance. Once you align your skills and presentation, your experience becomes your strength. So now the most important part. What is the exact step-by-step roadmap to enter Canadian pharma successfully? Friends, this is the roadmap that works for most professionals. Step 1. Choose your track QA, QC, regulatory, or validation. Step 2. Upgrade your skills according to Canadian GMP expectations. Step 3. Add certifications only if they truly support your profile. Step 4. Build a Canadian style resume and LinkedIn presence. Step 5. Network actively because referrals matter a lot in Canada. Step 6. Apply smartly through portals, recruiters, and company career pages. And finally, prepare for behavioral interviews using structured storytelling. If you follow this roadmap systematically, your entry into Canadian pharma becomes only a matter of time. Now we will start breaking down each step in detail, beginning with how to choose the right track and upgrade your skills. Friends, this step looks simple, but it is one of the most critical decisions in your Canada journey. Many professionals make the mistake of applying randomly, today QA, tomorrow QC, next week regulatory, but Canadian employers do not like scattered profiles. They want clarity. So you must clearly decide, am I positioning myself as QA professional, a QC professional, a regulatory affairs professional, or a validation professional? Once you select one track, everything becomes aligned. Your learning, your resume, your LinkedIn profile, and even your interview answers. A focused profile always looks more confident and job ready than a confused one. Now, once your track is clear, the next question is, what exactly are Canadian employers expecting from you? Canadian pharma companies operate strictly under Health Canada GMP requirements. The biggest difference you'll notice is the documentation culture. In Canada, it is not enough to say the activity was done. You must prove with proper records that it was done and it was done correctly, consistently, and compliantly. Compliance here is non negotiable. Even small documentation lapses can become audit observations. Patient safety is always the priority, and GMP compliance is the foundation of trust. So, your mindset must shift from execution focused to documentation and compliance focused. Now, let's break this down further and understand what skill upgrades are expected in each career track. If you are targeting quality assurance roles in Canada, your strength must be compliance systems. Canadian QA professionals are deeply involved in deviation investigations, root cause analysis using structured tools, CAPA planning, effectiveness verification, change control impact assessment, inspection, and audit readiness. It is not enough to close a deviation. You must show that CAPA worked. So QA candidates must demonstrate maturity, decision making ability, and strong documentation clarity. If you already have QA experience, your goal is to present it in the Canadian compliance language. Now let's talk about quality control, where investigation discipline is even more important. Quality control roles in Canada demand both technical expertise and investigation maturity. Yes, strong analytical skills like HPLC, GC, FTIR, and UV are essential, but beyond testing, Canadian QC roles focus heavily on OS investigations, OOT trend analysis, lab deviation handling, data integrity compliance under ALCOA Plus, stability study documentation. Canada takes data integrity very seriously. Every result must be accurate, traceable, and reproducible. So QC professionals must think like investigators, not just like any analyst. Now, for those who are targeting regulatory affairs, the focus shifts from testing to submissions and strategy. Regulatory affairs is a documentation driven and strategy oriented career. If you are planning for RA roles in Canada, you must understand Health Canada Regulatory Framework CTD module structure because of ECTD documentations and submissions, product lifecycle management, labeling, and post approval changes. RA professionals are the bridge between the company and the regulators. So, clarity in writing, attention to detail, and coordination skills are extremely important. Every professional from QA background can move into RA if documentation skills are strong. Now, once the skills are aligned, the next big question everyone asks me is about the certifications. Let me be very honest here. Certifications do not guarantee jobs in Canada, but the right certifications can support your profile if used correctly. Say, for example, GMP certification helps you understand Canadian compliance expectations. ASQ certifications add value for quality professionals. RAC certifications are respected for regulatory affairs. Validation and CSV courses support technical roles. The key is relevance. Do not collect certificates blindly. Use certificates to support your experience, not to replace it. Now, once the skills and certifications are aligned, the next major step is building a Canadian style resume. Canadian resumes are very different from the traditional Indian CVs. They are short, sharp, and impact focused. Ideally, your resume should be 1 or 2 pages only. No long paragraphs, no stories, no job descriptions copied from SOPs. Instead, use achievement based bullet points that clearly show what you did and what impact you created. Canadian employers can resumes quickly, so clarity and structure matters a lot. Now, along with resume, LinkedIn becomes the most powerful job search tool in Canada. Friends, in Canada, LinkedIn is not optional, it is mandatory. A large number of interviews happen because recruiters find candidates on LinkedIn. Your LinkedIn profile must clearly show your target role, including GMP and compliance keywords. Reflect continuous learning and professionalism. Networking is not about sending job requests, it's about building professional visibility and trust. If done consistently, LinkedIn can open doors faster than any other job portal. Now, let's talk about which job roles you should realistically target as an entry candidate. One common mistake is aiming too high for the first Canadian role. Instead, target entry or traditional roles such as QA documentation associate, QC technician or analyst, regulatory coordinator, validation associate. These roles give you exposure to Canadian systems, documentation practices, and workplace culture. Once you enter, growth becomes much easier. Remember, entry is the toughest step. Now, let's discuss how to apply smartly instead of blindly applying. Job searching in Canada is about strategy, not volume. Do not mass apply with the same resume everywhere. Customize your resume slightly for each role. Apply to LinkedIn jobs, Indeed Canada, company career pages, and recruiters. Follow up professionally after applying. Consistency, focus, and patience are powerful than random applications. Now we will go deeper into resume excellence, LinkedIn networking, recruiters, and interview preparations. Friends, now we are entering one of the most important success factors for Canada, that is your resume. Let me tell you very honestly, many internationally trained professionals get rejected not because they lack experience, but because their resume does not match Canadian expectations. In Canada, a resume is not a life story document, it's a sharp professional marketing tool. A strong Canadian resume has strong structure, professional summary at the top, core skill section, experience written in achievements, educations, certifications. Employer should understand within the first 10 seconds who you are, what do you do, and what value you will bring to their quality systems. Now, the next question is what kind of bullet points make a Canadian resume stand out? Let's make that crystal clear. This is one of the biggest game changers. Many candidates write weak statements like responsible for QA documentation, worked in QC laboratory, handled deviations, but Canadian employers want impact, not responsibilities. So instead of saying handle deviation, write investigated 25 plus deviations, performed root cause analysis, implemented CAPA, and supported audit readiness. Instead of saying worked in QC lab, write performed HPLC and UV analysis, managed OS investigations, and ensured ALCOA plus compliant documentation. These achievement based bullets immediately show maturity, compliance mindset, and job readiness. Now, once your resume is strong, the next powerful tool for entry in Canada is LinkedIn. Friends, LinkedIn is basically a digital resume in Canada. Many jobs are never even filled through portals. Recruiters directly search LinkedIn for candidates. So your LinkedIn profile must look like a Canadian pharma professional profile. Your headline should not be vague like pharmacist with experience. It should be specific, such as QA specialist, GMP compliant, deviations, CAPA, audit support. Your about section should clearly reflect your expertise, your transition focus towards Canadian pharma. Also add tools you have worked with like LIMS, TrackWise, SAP, documentation systems. Recruiters search through keywords, so LinkedIn organization is one of the smartest steps you can take. Now, after the LinkedIn optimization is done, the real secret weapon in Canada is networking. In Canada, networking is not optional, it is mandatory. A large percentage of jobs are filled through referrals. So instead of only applying online, you must build professional relationships. Here is a simple message template. Hi, I am a QA professional with GMP experience, currently preparing for opportunities in Canada. I admire your work and would love to connect and learn from your journey. Notice something important. You are not directly asking for a job, you are requesting guidance and building trust. Over time, these connections turn into referrals, and referrals bring interviews much faster. Now the networking is strong, resume is ready, so where exactly you should apply for the pharma jobs? Now friends, applying in the right place matters as much as applying itself. The top job sources for Canadian pharma include LinkedIn Jobs, Indeed Canada, company career pages directly, Workopolis, and healthcare jobs. Many people ignore company websites, but that is where the most genuine roles are posted first. Companies like Apotex, Sanofi, Thermo Fisher, Teva all have direct career portals. Apply early because Canadian job postings often close quickly once enough applicants are applying to it. Now, apart from the portals, there is another powerful entry tool, recruiters and staffing agencies. In Canada, recruitment agencies play a major role in pharma hiring. Many companies outsource hiring for QA, QC, validation, and regulatory affairs. So you should actively connect with recruiters. Your goal should be build relationships with 5 to 10 recruiters in your domain. Share your resume professionally. Follow up politely every few weeks. Recruiters remember candidates who are consistent, prepared, and clear about their track. Often, recruiters can get you interviews faster than the direct applications. Now, one mindset shift is very important. Your first job in Canada is the entry door, not the final destination. Many professionals make one mistake. They wait for the perfect role. But in Canada, your first job is the entry door. You may start as QA documentation associate, a QC technician, regulatory coordinator, validation associate, and that is perfectly okay. Once you enter, you gain Canadian workplace exposure, documentation culture, and local references. After that, growth becomes much easier. So focus on entering the system first. Perfection will come later. Now, after applications, the next major stage is interviews. And Canadian interviews have a very unique style. Friends, the Canadian interviews are not only technical, they are highly behavioral. Employers want to know how do you handle deviations? How do you respond during the audits? How do you manage investigations? They evaluate your communication clarity, compliance mindset, and professionalism. So don't just prepare definitions like what is kappa. Prepare real stories from your experience that show how you handled compliance challenges. And the best way to structure those stories professionally is using the STAR method. Now you'll ask me, sir, what is the STAR method? See, the STAR method is the best interview tool for Canada. STAR stands for situation, that is, what happened, task, what was your role, action, what steps you took, result, what outcome was achieved. Say, for example, if we talk about situation, a batch showed an OS result. Now let's see the task. You had to investigate. Action, you performed RCA, reviewed lab data, implemented CAPA. Result, recurrence reduced and compliance improved. This structured answering creates a strong impression and shows maturity. So before we move to the final closing part, let's summarize in one very powerful checklist. So friends, at this stage, you should have 1. A strong Canadian style resume, a LinkedIn profile that attracts recruiters, a networking strategy for referrals, smart job applications through portals and recruiters, interview stories ready with the STAR method, which I told you just now. If these 5 areas are strong, your Canadian pharma entry becomes only a matter of time. The process may take months, but with consistency, results will definitely come. Now we will cover the final pieces, mistakes to avoid, realistic timelines, career growth, motivation, and a closing message for you. Friends, before we close this masterclass, we must talk honestly about the mistakes that stop many professionals from succeeding in Canada. The first mistake is applying without focus. Be focused always. Some people apply for QA today, QC tomorrow, regulatory next week, and the profile looks very confused. Second, many candidates use the same resume everywhere without any customization. Third, they ignore LinkedIn networking, even though Canada is a referral driven market. Another big mistake is expecting senior manager roles immediately. In most cases, you must enter first, then grow. And finally, the biggest mistake is giving up too early. Canada is not a 1 month shortcut, it's a structured process, and those who stay consistent are the ones who will succeed. Obviously, the next question you'll ask me, what is a realistic timeline for entering the Canadian pharma? So let me give you a realistic and practical timeline because only clarity removes frustration. In the first 0 to 3 months, your focus should be skill upgrading, Canadian resume preparation, LinkedIn optimization, learning Health Canada GMP expectations. Between 3 to 6 months, networking becomes stronger, recruiter connections build up, and interviews start coming. Most candidates enter within 6 to 12 months, depending on effort, track location, and referrals. Some achieve faster results, especially with a stronger networking. So, the key message is success is absolutely possible, but consistency is the key. It is absolutely required. So, now you have entered the industry. The next question is How does the career growth looks in Canada? Friends, the first job is always the hardest step, but once you enter Canadian pharma, growth becomes much easier. Trust me, I know many people who have left India, they are working in Canada right now and they are very successful. Local exposure builds trust. You learn Canadian documentation culture, workplace communication, and compliance expectations. Promotions happen through performance, quality mindset, and continuous learning. Pharma is a stable long term industry in Canada. So once you establish yourself, the career journey becomes very rewarding. The first role is the entry door, and after that, opportunities will expand very quickly. Now, many people they ask me, do I need to start from zero again in Canada? Let me clarify that. Let me tell you something very important. Your Indian or any other country pharma experience is not wasted. Your GMP foundation, your QA investigations, or your QC knowledge, all of it is very valuable. The only difference is alignment. You are not restarting your career, you are upgrading your experience to match the Canadian systems, documentation practices, and regulatory expectations. Once you build that relevance, your experience becomes your strength. Canada values prepared professionals, not fresh starters. Now let's summarize the complete roadmap one final time so you have total clarity. So friends, if I summarize this entire masterclass into one roadmap, it's very simple. Step 1, choose your track: QA, QC, regulatory, or validation. Step 2, upgrade your skills according to Canadian GMP expectations. Step 3, build a Canadian style resume with achievement focused points. Step 4, optimize LinkedIn and network consistently for referrals. Step 5, apply smartly through portals, recruiters, and company career pages. And finally, prepare behavioral interview stories using the STAR method, which I told you. If you follow these steps, your entry into Canada Pharma becomes only a matter of time. Now, before we close, I want to share one final motivational message from my heart. Friends, Canada is not rejecting pharma professionals. Canada is selecting those who are prepared. Your dream is absolutely achievable, but it requires focus, planning, patience, and consistency. Do not get overwhelmed. Take one step at a time. Upgrade your skills, improve your resume, build your network, and keep applying smartly. Your journey may take months, but the destination is worth it. Believe in the process and believe in yourself. And now, let's make this interactive because I want to guide you further based on your needs. Now, I want to ask you directly, which roles are you targeting in Canada? Are you planning for QA, QC laboratory roles, regulatory affairs, or validations? Comment below because based on your responses, I can create dedicated videos for each track with interview questions, resume templates, and job strategies for you. This channel is here to support your journey step by step. Now let's talk about what upcoming support videos can help you even more. If you want, I can create detailed follow-up videos on topics like a complete Canadian pharma resume template, Health Canada GMP interview questions and answers, the best certifications required for QA, QC, and regulatory, how to get your first job even without any Canadian experience. So stay connected because this is just the beginning of your career roadmap. Your success is built through continuous learning. And let's close the class today with a strong call to action. So friends, if you found this masterclass helpful, please like the video and subscribe to Pharma Health Insight. Share this video with your friends or colleagues who are also planning to start a pharma career in Canada. And remember, consistency is the biggest success factor. Keep learning, keep upgrading, and keep moving forward. Your opportunity will definitely come. And finally, one last closing line for you. Your Canada pharma journey starts today. Preparation creates opportunity, and step by step, you can absolutely achieve your dream role in QA, QC, regulatory, or validation. Thank you for watching. This is Rajesh from Pharma Health Insights, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, stay focused and stay confident. Thank you.